How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age, and this time we
got a 2-for-1 special on this one.
Yeah, we've got two superheroes that are covered in the same comic book.
Why did you do this one?
That's actually kind of funny. This was one I was planning on doing, and it was also requested at the same time. So this is the first time that I actually got requested to do one that I was also going to be covering myself. So I actually thought that was kind of funny, and it appears that my dog wanted to be in the video as well. Before we get started,
awesome shirt.
I was going to mention this shirt, this Archangel shirt. This is actually made from a childhood buddy of mine. He does a lot of X-Men art, and if anybody's interested in a shirt like this or any other shirts that he does, I can always let people know where to get. I mean, look at this thing. This is awesome. Archangel's one of my favorite X-Men characters. Not Angel, Archangel. So, anyways, this is a male and female superhero, and what I found interesting about this is the fact that neither of them lead the comic book. They are both equal parts of it, which is the unusual thing I found about this. When a male is the superhero in the story, the females are usually relegated to being either the secretary or a love interest, or they're in love with both the civilian and superhero identity and doesn't know that he's both. But the fact that they're both equal, none of them lead the story, they're both superheroes, and they both don't know who the other person is in the superhero roles, which I found kind of amusing. It was different and oddly progressive for the 1940s to do something like that. Not to say there wasn't women superheroes, I've covered many of them on there, but there wasn't many female superheroes when the male was also a superhero. So that's what was kind of weird about this whole thing. And they both had to work together to solve this. So it wasn't like she was a sidekick or a background character. They were both equal in this, which I thought was actually kind of cool. So this is just a one and done story, unfortunately. So I do have my intro, but I don't have a lead in, except for letting you know who the players are, because in a one and done, what am I going to lead you to? Everything's in the first story, in the only story. So let's go ahead and get into this, and then you can tell me what you guys think, and if you have any requests, you can always leave them. So, oh yeah, what was that? Like and subscribe. That sounds weird coming from me. All right, let's get into this. The Scarlet Nemesis. The Scarlet Nemesis, Rocky Ford, first appeared in All New Short Story Comics #2 in 1943. The original publisher is Harvey and created by George Tuska. The Black Orchid, Julie Allen, first appeared in All New Short Story Comics #2, 1943. Original publisher is Harvey, created by George Tuska. I did a tiny bit of research on them. It looks like George Tuska was the artist, but the created by was unknown. Okay, so, all new mystery short stories. Case of the Crumbling Skyscrapers. Operating a private detective agency by day, Rocky Ford and Judy Allen assumes the roles of the mighty Scarlet Nemesis and the Black Orchid for their nightly crusades against crimes, their identity unknown to each other. Just one thing about this opening splash page. It looks like the Scarlet Nemesis has this like a beam light on his head, which it doesn't seem to do anything. In fact, in the issue, the fact that there might be a lantern on his head kind of comes and goes. I mean, in a couple of the other panels, he has a spotlight on his head, which doesn't do anything. And in some of the other panels, there's not one there at all. Okay, there's a splash page and then 3 openers to open this page. In the offices of Rocky Ford and Judith Allen, private investigators. Excitement in private detective work. Bah! All I do is clean the office. Don't worry, Judy. There soon will be... Boom! Suddenly, a violent explosion rocks the place. What's that? The Baxter Building. What? The Baxter Buildings? The Fantastic Four doesn't come out until the 60s. I mean, I know. The Baxter building has been blown up, Judy. Still, 1960s. And then Rocky decides to run out and says that he'll investigate and she can stay here. And she's like, I don't think so. I'm coming out there too. They go on to the scene and they see that there is an ambulance there and a guy suspiciously dressed. He goes to and talk to the ambulance driver. She goes after the guy and he starts to manhandle her. And then Rocky shows up and knocks the guy over. As the guy runs away, Judy tries to stop him and says, "Stop, Rocky, he's had enough." Look, Rocky, he dropped that. You just said Rocky in two panels that were right next to each other. That was a little unnecessary. Okay, we get a little exposition here about what the thing is. Apparently, it's a thing of pigeon food, and it's a special brand that Jim Crow... Oh my God! You actually called a character in the 40s Jim Crow. Why? Seriously. And then you said his name in back-to-back bubbles. That special brand that Jim Crow, the retired millionaire, used to feed the stray pigeons. Yes, but men like Jim Crow don't go around blowing up buildings. You really wanted to enforce the fact that this guy's name is Jim Crow. You really had to put that in your comic, didn't you? Okay, in the next panel, we see that he's got the light, like the light on his head, but it won't be in any of the other panels on the same page. The inconsistent drawing. Come on, George. That evening, the two investigators assumed their secret roles, the Scarlet, Nemesis, and Black Orchid. Think I'll stay in tonight, Judy. That's a good idea, Rocky. I'll do the same. Okay, so he goes to investigate, and he hears them talking about the statue. So he starts to beat them up, and then he gets to drop from behind. He hits him on top of the head. If he had the lantern, he wouldn't have gotten hit on the head. As he's lying there unconscious, a knife comes by, and there seems to be a flower wrapped around the handle, and they know that that's the sign of the Black Orchid. So she springs into action and beats the two guys down to rescue Rocky, and there's the light, there's the lantern back on his head for two more panels. I mean, you see it right there, and you can get a glimpse of it in the next one. As she gets him up, he goes, "The hammer, a few minutes, must be the statue, but I don't know what they meant." As he's trying to get up, she runs towards the statue, and it explodes. Yeah, run towards the explosion, because that's the smart thing to do. Okay, as she gets really close to it, it explodes, and the force of the explosion knocks her down, and it starts to rain down debris. By this time, the Scarlet Nemesis has regained himself, and he picks up the Black Orchid and runs off with her. He puts it in the car, and we also get a little more exposition, because it's only one issue. You got to include everything. I could remove the mask and see who she is, but the first time we met, we agreed to keep our identity secret. Let's see. Almost forgot about the pigeon food incident. Guess I'll drop in on Mr. Jim Crow. Now, you really wanted to enforce that name, didn't you? Okay, later outside the eccentric man's home. That's the old guy's place. It sure looks scary. Are you sure you didn't want to say Jim Crow again? You said it 3 times already. And now you're going to go ahead and use a little discretion and call him the old man? Okay, and he goes into the house, which I guess the front door is unlocked. He just lets himself in. And there's no more hat on top of his head. He hears the plan about how this guy wants to blow up the building so that the birds can live free again. Dude, they are birds. They can fly. I really don't think that they're too concerned about buildings. I have been to cities. The pigeons are everywhere. They ain't worried about skyscrapers being in the way. Okay. He gets shot at and grabs the old man, and then he comes out. This guy comes out with the Tommy gun. "Reach, Nemesis, make it fast." And apparently they don't want to call him Jim Crow anymore, because right here it says But this man's crazy. He destroyed a city so pigeons can live. His dough is good. His dough is good. That's all I know. I mean, they really enforced the name Jim Crow, and then in this whole panel, they don't even mention it. You don't say that Jim Crow is crazy. You said the old man's crazy. It's you enforce the name, and then you don't even say it again. Crazy, huh? When I get through blowing up all the buildings, my pigeons will have the room to live. Next goes the Star Building. First of all, you are bat crap crazy. Second of all, pigeons don't need buildings knocked down. They can fly. It's not like four-legged animals that need to roam on the grounds have been misplaced. They're birds. They fly. You're an idiot. He says that he's going to handle the job, and if they get rid of the Scarlet Nemesis, he'll give them a bonus. Crow's nuts, all right, but he sure pays plenty. Lay down, Nemesis. How about a game of cards, huh, fellas? So they leave Nemesis alone, and they decided to go play cards. There they say Jim Crow again. Let's see. As the mad Jim Crow leaves on his mission of destruction, his hired hands pass the time idly. Why didn't you get rid of Scarlet Nemesis? Isn't that what he wanted you to do? I mean, I'll go back a panel real quick and take a look. Yeah, and he says, get rid of the Nemesis, and then I'll see to your bonus. Why did you leave him alive? Seriously, why didn't you kill him and then play cards? I don't understand. I'm really rather confused by that. Okay, as they're playing cards, the Black Orchid suddenly comes up. The sign of the Black Orchid. But she isn't around. Look, the Scarlet Nemesis and the Black Orchid. So she must have freed him. Yeah, if you killed him, it wouldn't have made a difference. So they knock out the criminals. I guess they were still on the roof. Because, well, okay, now I'm a little confused. They were on the roof, but now here's a table where they're smoking cigarettes and playing cards. But as they're getting beaten up, they seem to be on the roof. But why would you have cards and a table on the... I'm so confused by this. Okay, so she takes out a loose brick and throws it at the guy who's brandishing a Tommy gun. The situation of where they're at just didn't make any sense. Because why would there be a card table and cards on the roof? And even if there was like a little building on top of the roof, it didn't show them going in and out of doors. Okay, so they knock all the criminals out, and that completes the job. But as the police arrive to take over what remains of the victims, the two Crusaders make a hasty exit. They're here and out cold, just like the Black Orchid said. Hurry, we have to get the Crow before. Never mind about him. He ran right past your car when I was in back. He never knew what hit him. So Jim Crow jumped into the Scarlet Nemesis car and she took care of him before she came in and rescued him. That was very anticlimactic. I would have liked to have seen her do that. Okay, they part company, say that they'll meet again sometimes, and that spells poison to organized crime. And okay, let's just read the last three panels here. As mysteriously as they came, the two crime fighters part. We'll meet again sometime, and that spells poison to organized crime. The next day at the office of Rocky Ford and Judy Allen, there we go on the wreck, and nothing happens. But the Scarlet Nemesis and the Black Orchid arrive, and the mystery clears up. Too bad we can't believe them. If only he knew I'm the Black Orchid. Too bad I can't tell her I'm the Scarlet Nemesis. I'm guessing if this thing went about 3 or 4 more issues, they would have known who the other one was. But, first, last, and only. Paula, are you just going to lay there? Look at the end of the world. Well, I hope you liked this video. I hope I hope you enjoyed this one. I actually really enjoyed doing this. It wasn't a very long story, but interesting enough nonetheless. So, until next time, I'll be seeing you.